Hey, happy Saturday morning, my friends. How are you today? So I've just done the next step of the old Miniart T-34. So you see here, we're starting to get some details coming out. Starting to look a lot nicer. And the shine is going away. So we're starting to lose that shine that I had on it. So how I got it to this stage, so we've got the next process. So after I spray painted it, and you can see there we've got modulation going on. And in my previous video I talked about the modulation and how I achieved that. But now, as you can see, we're starting to bring out the detail. Alright? So the next thing I did, once the top coat was painted, is I've got this wonderful product by Mick. It's a brown for dark green filter. It's an enamel product opposed to an oil, and it's a really dark brown filter. It's bloody nice. So I covered the whole thing with that, and then rubbed it sort of roughly back off. So it was very messy and rough still, and I'll let that dry for a good 24 hours. So oil takes a long time to really set, like you can be waiting 3 or 4 days. So the next day I came along and I got a beautiful colour by Tamiya called Sky. It's this really nice light green, you can see it just there. So that was me getting the paint off the brush. And you can see mixed in with that colour is brown. Alright, so what I did is I just got one of these brushes here, so it's just sort of quite a thick, but not too thick, sort of ball brush. Then I dipped that in the Sky paint and rubbed it off. Rubbed it off so the first coat was nearly completely empty of paint, so I pretty much got it all back off again and started buffing the whole thing. And it'll start to pick up a lot of that sky green because there's a lot, but it also starts to pick up the old oil, and you'll start to get the mixture of the green and the filter mix, and it starts to all buff in and nicely and blend everything nicely together. And then you start to get, especially around the highlights and stuff like that, you start to get lightness. That's like, for me it represents the initial sort of point of paint fading and chipping. You can really sort of more see it on the top there. And it's also starting to tone down that gloss. And what I've noticed is you don't want to completely matte away that gloss, because I know that the military tried to make their paints as matte as possible, but we're going in a smaller scale here, and we're looking for a representation. And what I found is if you keep the gloss and you just tone it down with oils, that it gives a more metallic, cold feel. So I sort of believe that metal has, even painted metal, has this kind of shine to it, even if you paint it matte. So that's the thinking I'm going there, with keeping the gloss sort of on and dyeing it down with oils over time. So now that this stage is done, as you can see here, I'm going to just blacken up the details that I'm going to paint a different colour. There's not many on this one, not many at all. That's just a cat, I'm going to ignore her. Oh, and I'll show you, see the decals went on as well. So I went with the first Polish tank corps, the Rogax or whatever it's called. That's a deer in Polish. The 213, the first Polish tank corps. And yeah, it looks pretty decent. Not over the top with its decals on. So once these are detailed, and we'll paint them up, give them their base colours. Then what I'll do next after that is go in and we'll do some pin washing. Really bring some shadows into the crevices and gaps. Anyway, that's what's going on with that. I've also, you know, of course I'm working on the mobile wagon as well. It's giving me a bit of trouble, the mobile wagon. I'm struggling with inspiration. Things aren't going too well, but I've got, oh, you know, it's going fine. It's just, you know, sometimes when it's like, when's it going to hit that point where I'm happy? But I've got the wheels sorted out. Starting to get the details sorted out. The gun's starting to look decent. Yeah, I'm starting to get a bit of initial chipping and you know, we've got the sort of the sight started to looking pretty metallic, and the feeder, put a little bit of oil on it, which I'll probably buff up now. As I say, it's a bit meh, and it's not the model, it's my paint job. But I'll get there, and if it doesn't like it, I'll just start again. Alright my friends, thanks for watching. There's the border one, and I'll see you again soon.